Greetings to all. I am Dimitris Aris and I am Professor of Food Biotechnology in the Department of Food Science and Nutrition of the University of the Aegean. Our department is located in the beautiful island of Limnos in Greece. You are most welcome to visit. The title of this lecture is Awareness of the Need for Bio-based Products, Bioprocessing for Sustainable Agri-food Waste Management. This lecture is being offered by AGRIMA project, namely Agri-food Waste Management for Sustainable Bioeconomy through higher education curricula and upskilling. This is an Erasmus Plus project under the framework of KA 220 projects, cooperation, partnerships in higher education. The goals of AGRIMA is to foster universities' capacity building for the green transition through innovative practices and higher education curricula, updating in agri-food waste management for the circular bioeconomy. AGRIMA addresses, on the one hand, to advance pedagogical methods for industrial agri-food waste valorization, but based on business-academia synergies. On the other hand, to integrate citizen science in bioeconomy-enhanced waste valorization as means of civic engagement and environmental advocacy. The consortium of the project is consisted by some partners, with the Polytechnic School of Porto being the coordinator, and the rest of the partners are the University of Marseille, the University of the Aegean, the University of Novi Sad, and two other partners are Avipe and Web2Learn. We find it really useful to discuss about some terms like sustainability, circular economy, bioeconomy, bio-based products, and mainly understand the need to follow such terms and apply them. If we will check right now the current world population, right now I'm checking and it's about 8.235 billion at the moment. And I am sure that by the time that you are going to watch this lecture, and each time that you are watching again this lecture, this number will go higher and higher and higher. Thus, there is a huge population growth, always ascending nowadays, and the news are not really good for the future. And together with the population growth comes the waste streams growth. The more we are, the more wastes we produce, and that's a huge environmental problem. Also, because of the fact that we're growing faster and faster, we face some climate change conditions, meaning depletion of resources or heating our planet up, leading also to biodiversity loss. More and more species year by year are being vanished forever. The thing is that besides all that, us as people, we have human needs. And because of that fact that we have human needs and the way we try to cover them, we are facing problems such as depletion of natural resources of any kind around nature. And we should consider this problem and what to do about that. We should ask some questions and pose some arguments about that fact. And specifically, let's go to the fossil fuels. We should ask ourselves if fossil fuels are actually and truly dry up. Are we facing really a problem of having no other fossil fuels in the near future? Or is it just that their extraction and production costs are increasing? Are fossil fuels running out, or their prices just go up? Therefore, we need to start thinking of other solutions, such as the substitution of fossil fuels, and thinking that energy could also not be derived from mass, from fossil fuels, let's say. Everything is about carbon. Where to find carbon and how to use it in a good manner. Carbon is necessary for the creation of almost everything. Dyes and chemicals, plastics, medicine, everything we see around and we live with. If we need to make a transition from the linear economy and production model that we're following right now for many years after the Industrial Revolution, we need to think about going, let's say, back to the future by using, from now on, circular models of economy and production, which resemble and are more similar to the natural way of living and the way that the planet can endure. If we want to drive ourselves towards a bio-based economy, we need to start thinking of using non-fossil fuels as raw material. But what's bio-based economy? According to the European Commission, bioeconomy comprises the production of renewable biological resources and their conversion into food, feed, bio-based products, and bioenergy. It includes sectors such as agriculture, forestry, fisheries, food, bio-based chemicals, and bioenergy. Everything is inside, giving a hint that we could replace fossil fuels with renewable biological resources so as to produce almost everything. When you will find in your disposal the PDF of the slides of this presentation, please feel free to click on the links like this to find more information. After referring to bio-based economy, it would be nice to refer to what is bio-based product. According to European Committee for Standardization, a bio-based product is a product wholly or partly derived from biomass. The term bio-based indicates that the product or part of the product comes from biological origin, excluding materials embedded in geological formation and or fossilized. Nothing to do with fossil fuels, but only having as feedstock biomass, which is highly renewable. Moving on, referring to sustainability, according to some references, sustainable development is the development that meets the needs of the present, but be aware, without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. And as the United Nations said many years ago, it's seeking a balance between what is desired and what is possible, between human activity and the carrying capacity of the Earth system and the ability to repair that system. The goal of sustainable process is to achieve the greatest possible production with the least possible expense of raw material, which should be an alternative renewable resource and not fossil fuels anymore. If we would like to evaluate social sustainability, the key areas for potential improvement to generate and apply sustainability in our lives is to think about employment conditions, which probably would be better, food safety and food security, and community well-being. It is said that if we apply such kind of principles, we will succeed on having better conditions on those sectors. And the key question to consider is, if we apply new technologies, are being used socially, are they socially and ethically acceptable? Are the benefits fairly and equitably shared among stakeholders? If we need to have a transition from the linear model of production to a circular one that we're trying to achieve, we should consider having a guide for that and think about some factors such as economic. It is clear that we have instability in fossil fuel prices for many reasons, geostrategical, economical, etc., etc. We should consider the political factor, the energy security. We have faced some major blackouts in some energy blackouts in some countries. We should consider about those facts. Environmental factor, we're facing huge problems with greenhouse gas emissions and global warming. So we should consider the reduction of such emissions. The demographic, which I have already mentioned in the first slides, the population growth, but also having the need to have also a wealth growth. It's good to be more and more, but not poorer and poorer. The agriculture factor regarding the farm income and economic development, and the sustainability and security in the food supply chain. It is said that if we apply the circular model of production, we would see directly benefits to our society, such as less pressure on climate change, local community support, having a new production model that could be applied locally. We could face economic development, a safer production chain, producing compounds with higher quality, and having an kind of improved recycling. If we would like to analyze the term of circular economy, it would be to change the way humans relate to nature so as to prevent resource and energy depletion and facilitate sustainable development. Up to now, we are always talking about the depletion of natural resources of any kind, from fossil fuels to anything else, and we're just watching the time passing by. We could achieve that by eliminating waste that we produce using the linear model more and more waste. And if we eliminate the wastes that we use and we follow continuously using of renewable resources, we're in a good way. A really nice figure explaining how circular economy works. You can see in the first row column the today's production model, the linear economy, and the huge garbage bin. If we produce at the start of the line, what you will have at the end of the line, if you have a line and not a circle, more and more wastes that cannot be further used. And this poses a huge problem that we're facing in our lives nowadays. The recycling economy model is somewhat better. You see the size of the garbage bin is smaller because some of the waste is being recycled and reused. But in the circular economy model, everything, almost everything, is being reused. So it's the phrase from take, make, use, and discard, which is this part, to remake and use again. In the next figure, we are going to see the same concept about circular economy. Is having raw materials entering feedstock, entering the production line, which could be turned into a cycle. We have the design of the product, production, the distribution, the consumption, as we do today. We have also the repair and reuse, which we nowadays forget. We use something and then we throw it away without repairing and buying a new one. Imagine your cell phone being jammed. You easily throw it away and buy a new one. But if we want to enter the circular model of production, we should consider about, besides repairing and reusing, we should consider about how we're going to use the residual waste and recover anything from that as a recycled recovered material and put it again in the production line, which would be now a circle. The recycled and recovered material again in the design process, the production, remanufacturing, etc., etc., etc. Another slide showing almost the same concept. It's having biomass raw material, feedstock, to take, make, use, dispose, and pollute up to date. And this is the well-known and hardcore linear bioeconomy model. We are facing the results in our lives today. And we try to drive towards the bioeconomy 2040 and plus circular bioeconomy model, which suggests new technologies of using the feedstock, having a sustainable production, reuse, remake, recycle, and enter the model of production and economy again. I am sure that by discussing such matters for some minutes now in this lecture, we would all understand that we would need some initiatives from major public bodies to create and apply policies that will support this idea. So it would be useful to discuss about the 17 SDGs of the United Nations and the European Green Deal as examples. Again, I propose that you could click on the links of the slides that you will receive and do more research for yourself. The Sustainable Development Goals, 17 of them, were adopted by the United Nations in 2015 as a universal call to succeed in ending poverty, protect the planet, and ensure that by 2030, now we're in July 2025, all people enjoy peace and prosperity, and no one is left behind. Here you may see all Sustainable Development Goals, from no poverty to responsible consumption and production, from gender equality to climate actions, etc., etc. As I have already mentioned, the 17 SDGs are designed to end poverty, hunger, HIV, discrimination against women and girls by giving priority to the countries that are furthest behind. We need to pay more attention on such countries than others, and to pose the necessity for creativity, know-how, technology, and financial resources from all of society. I am sure that you will face and meet with the term of Sustainable Development Goals more and more in your daily life or in your business life or academic life. Moving to the European Green Deal, feel free to press the link to find out more. It's to strive to be the first climate neutral continent. Europe striving to be the first climate neutral continent. Taking the actions to transform the EU into a modern, resource efficient, and competitive economy, ensuring that by 2050, 25 years from now, we will have no net emissions of greenhouse gases. That the economic growth of this continent and this union will be decoupled from resource use. Difficult to understand, but it could be possible. And that no person and no place is left behind. The benefits of this application could be in many sectors. Having fresh air, clean water, healthy soil, and of course biodiversity. No more biodiversity loss by human actions. To have energy efficient buildings, fully renovated, affordable and healthy food as nutraceutical, more and more public transport, more and more cleaner energy and cutting edge clean technological innovation, longer lasting products that not simply being thrown away but can be repaired, recycled, and reused. Future-proof jobs and skills, training for the transition from the linear production model to the circular one, and globally competitive and resilient industry. To achieve such application, we need to take some actions in many sectors, such as climate, transport, energy, agriculture, research and innovation, industry, the way that the European Union uses the power to offer to the people. And specifically, if we want to focus in agriculture, we may take some actions with such as common agricultural policy reform and the European Green Deal, sustainable use of pesticides or maybe biopesticides, nutrition labeling, welfare of farm animals, a crucial matter, organic farming, etc., etc. I hope you enjoyed this lecture. It's the introduction of two more lectures regarding the technology of bio-based products and applications and some examples. So I would like to kindly ask you to take a minute to evaluate our lecture by either following the link that you may find here or scanning the QR code that you may find here. It will take no more than 2 minutes of your time, but it's really crucial for our consortium and our project, AGRIMA project, to evaluate all lectures. Thank you all for listening and hope to see you all soon.